I just think that it's just so much easier if everyone's just nice to each other.
What a concept.
Dude, if that one little goes, this is like we're done. Like it's over.
I just remember being so frustrated that I couldn't get my Epiphone LP100 in my little Line 6 Spider 4 to sound like Jimmy Page. It's like, yeah.
And he just like wakes up. He's like, what? I'm like, let's go. And he just gets behind the kit and just lays down the tastiest. I'm like, this guy's an animal, dude. They don't make a lot of people like that, you know?
How was your summer?
It was amazing. Yeah. Just drove around in a van and played guitar at places where they would pay me. So I had a good time. Yeah, it was good to. Didn't like take October off, but I was like home for all of October, which was great because I looked at the schedule and I was like, damn, I've been on the road for 110 days this year.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, yeah, and then I have the rest of this tour, so it'll end up being like about $150. It's like almost half the year, which is cool.
Yeah. I was really curious to ask you how the tour went because when we had you on last time, you were in the midst of like 52, 53 dates.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what part of. Oh, I think I probably went through Colorado, New Mexico, because I kind of have like a little loop. The West Coast is just like the Western U.S. has been pretty easy as far as like lining up spots, just because I've done it so many times.
Yeah.
So I want to branch out a lot more, but it is a challenge getting further east because America's huge. Like, America's a really big place. I think a lot of people that haven't drove America don't understand how big and diverse our country is. It's really crazy.
True. Yeah. Well, especially if you do the West Coast first, because people from the East Coast don't realize how big the West Coast actually really is. And like, you know, when I go out traveling and people ask me where I'm from, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, you're really close to Vegas." Like, not really.
Like 500 miles from
drive to the Bay Area and back before I get to Vegas.
Even people in the West. So like, I'm from Southern California.
Yeah.
And after moving here, on the globe, we're further west than LA. Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, where are you? Like, what time zone are you in?" You know, people back home would be like, "What time zone are you? Are you an hour?" Like, no, I'm actually closer to Hawaii than you are.
What part of Southern California were you from?
Santa Clarita.
Okay, yeah.
Are you familiar?
Yeah. Is that OC?
It's not. It's on the other side of. It's on the north side of LA County.
North side of LA, okay, like Ventura area.
So yeah, if you go inland from Ventura, you'll hit Santa Clarita.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like a valley up from the San Fernando Valley.
Gotcha. I like that part of California.
It's a good spot. It's a good place to grow up.
Yeah, my grandma lives in Santa Barbara, so I go through that northern LA part quite a bit. I'll be there like a week, I think. Actually, a week from today, or a week from yesterday, I'll be in Santa Barbara.
Nice. Yeah, Santa Barbara's.
What part of San Diego did you live in? Like, did you live in the city?
I lived in Golden Hill, which was basically like I could see downtown. Okay. So like downtown, like you just take the like we're 10 blocks from like downtown.
Okay.
So pretty close. So that's where I lived lived there for like 2 years, and then I lived on an 8-acre ranch that was about 45 minutes east of the city, like pretty much just directly east. It's weird. Once you get like past, you drive 30 minutes, you're in the desert. And it's pretty cool out there. I really like living on that ranch. It was super peaceful. Sunsets were just gorgeous. I mean, every night was just like, you're looking at like, this is beautiful. So really cool place to live. And I wrote a lot of songs there and recorded a lot there. So I think that was just a good environment to be in. You know? And it was just me and this old dude I met golfing. He let me live with him. And so I could play music as loud as I wanted there. You know, there was 8 acres. Their next house was several hundred yards away. So there was like no restrictions on sound, which was great.
And so now you're back in Salt Lake. Okay.
Yeah.
What made you want to do the move?
I don't know if I necessarily like wanted to. There was just like a lot of personal things that kind of like brought me back. I think it's just hard to like sustain like pursuing music is I kind of just ran into a lot of like issues that way, whereas like living situations, you know, drama and relationships and stuff. And I knew Salt Lake was like always home, and it's been good to be back with like my childhood friends and my family, and it's just like a safe, convenient place to live.
Familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mean like pursuing music specifically in San Diego?
Just like the affordability of like not having a day job, you know, because I can always go to California, you know, anything. If I can always go there. It's not that far. It takes a day to drive there.
Yeah.
You know,
you don't have to put in, you know, a request for PTO.
Exactly. Yeah. And just like, I think it's really been the affordability of like living back in Salt Lake. And honestly, Salt Lake does have a ton of really talented musicians, and it's been easier for me to record. Like just, I have friends that will just record, like we can just record together, you know, but if you want to do that in San Diego, but studio time is not cheap, you know?
Oh yeah.
So I think that aspect of it, and it's also, you know, you can get other places. Like if you're in San Diego, however far out you go, you got to drive that far back. You know, that it's hard to make a loop from the bottom part of the country, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, there's not, it's kind of difficult to drive around San Diego.
It is.
Like just getting around town, it's a little tricky with the hills and
how
the freeways are laid out.
Thankfully, I played so many shows in San Diego that like I know exactly where everything is now. But if you're new to there, like just any big city, if you're new to it, it's like, where am I? You know, it's hard to get around.
Yeah, we had an indie band on during the summer, and the bassist went down to, I think it was San Diego. I think it was bassist for Charity Kiss. And he was just saying, like, he tried it out for maybe like a year or two and was just like, he just said he was like eaten alive down there, you know, and like $5 a gallon for gas.
Oh, yeah.
And just like, like you were just saying, like the expense of just trying to do it like the bare minimum down there. It's like you have to work harder to get like the same or less than if you did like Reno or Salt Lake or a home.
100%. I mean, people in Utah have like, there's been this influx of people moving from California to Utah, and it is definitely getting more expensive, just as everywhere is getting more expensive. But people that have never left, a lot of my friends that have never left Salt Lake are like, oh, it's just like, can't even live here. I'm like, you can still find rooms for rent for like $500-$600. Like, good luck doing that in California. You know, you're gonna be, you can't find a shack for that. You know, like there's just no way. So I think that like that aspect of like being able to like pay my bills and also just like being able to tour, it's like so much easier from Utah.
Yeah.
And I really do like being around my friends and family. The older I get, I really appreciate those relationships.
Sometimes you have to leave home to realize how much you like
I think
appreciate home.
For sure.
Yeah.
So it's been good.
So talk about the tour that you launched yesterday.
Right now, yeah. So this is just the fall tour, kind of just wrapping up the rest of the year. You know, there's only so many places. That is the downside of Salt Lake, is places that have weekday music. You know, I can book Friday, Saturday every week, but I need to play at least 4 a week, I would say, to like sustain it. So I do have to resort to traveling a lot, which I don't mind. Like I've honestly had a really good time this year, and I feel like I've learned a lot about myself, and just kind of learned how to handle myself in certain situations, because this whole year has been just me for the most part. You know, I've done a few festivals with this band that I play in, but you know, 99% of it's been just by myself. So this tour is just finishing up the year, and never really like have like some deep thought of like what route I want to go. I'm just like, okay, well, I booked a show here. Let's just figure out how to get back home, you know, just make a loop. So just doing the West Coast. And I feel like I only have like 3 or 4 days off on the 3 weeks that I'll be like straight gone. I'll be back home for like another 10 days, and then doing a little tour with that band that I play in. We're doing a showdown in San Diego, and then a couple shows in Tucson, which will be fun. So getting out of the cold in the winter time would be nice.
something that's come out of these podcasts that is very apparent, because we've had a lot of people locally, and then the people that we have from out of town, like yourself, that are coming through, just how much of a grind everything is. I mean, you as someone who doesn't know about the life, you say, hey, I'm going on tour, doing, a West Coast tour. Like, it sounds like this big ol', glamorous thing.
Yeah.
It's your job, and it's a
job.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. There's nothing more than that. I mean, it's a great job that you get to, do art, and
it's a very rewarding job.
Yeah, but it's a lot of grind, right?
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, pretty much everybody that we have in there, it's the same thing. It's like they're grinding.
I think like I get overwhelmed when I don't know why I've done it for so long, but every time I'm like, all right, I got to start, planning out the schedule for January, February next year. And I look at my calendar and it's blank, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, but I forget. I'm like, this is what I do. Mm-hmm. But for some reason it still gives me some pent up angst to get it done. Mm-hmm. And then, once you get it done, you're just like, oh, all right, cool. So I've got next year already looking pretty good. Planning on going back to Texas for South by Southwest this year. I'm really wanting to get through the Southeast a little bit more. But it again, traveling by yourself, going into uncharted territory does get a little spooky, now that I've toured the Western US so much, I know the places that I can stay. I know where I'm not going to have my car broken into, learning that kind of aspect of the road is totally. A totally different thing. And it does take some time, I feel especially when you're in different cities every night. You need to learn where you should and shouldn't go, And I mean, Reno, for example, I know that if I get a hotel and the door's in the parking lot, that's a bad sign, there needs to be a lobby you got to walk through, So, and just like any city in general, it's going to be like that. But just learning that aspect of the road is a whole nother thing than doing the performing and the booking and managing everything else. Just being able to keep yourself safe is really important.
I had an interesting question I wanted to ask you. We recently had a band in here who were wanting to record their next album. They have a few, and they go on tour, and they do pretty. They have a nice little following here in Reno. But they just did a crowdfund campaign, which they ended up meeting down to the wire. It was fantastic. They met it, and we're stoked for them. But I'm curious because there was some pushback against that from the audience, and their peers, artists, peers too. I'm just kind of curious on your thoughts on that as an artist that wants to, what are your thoughts on that? If asking that of an audience, or
I mean, I'm not one to judge. If people find that to be a way to success, and it works, then good for them. I personally wouldn't do that. If people want to support me in my music, they can come to shows and buy merch, and I think that that's the way that I would want to be supported personally. But I get it, recording's expensive. It's a lot easier to put together money when you have a band. That's kind of part of the reason I've haven't done a full record yet, is because, for one, I don't want to spend the time to put out something that I don't think is going to be up to par. And especially when you're putting out a full record, that takes a lot of time. And you want to work with a producer that you're comfortable with, and one that has your sound, they know what you want to sound like. And the recording aspect really, there's a lot of moving pieces, I think, and it depends on what kind of recording setting you're in. If you're in a nice studio where you have an engineer and you have hands that are helping, that's a totally different setting than if you're DIY recording at home and sending it off to somebody. I honestly like recording at home if you can, if you have enough, like the last song that we recorded, my buddy's got pretty decent equipment at home. We were able to track drums, and the drums actually came out sounding pretty solid. You know, that's definitely something that's hard to track, I feel like. But I like doing it at home because I feel like you have just a little bit more, like a little less pressure.
Sure.
You know, and especially if you're in the studio, it's like, well, we're paying for this time. Like, we have to get something done. And it has, like, hopefully when you're done, like, it sounds the way you want it to sound. So I like doing it at a home and then, like, sending it to a producer, that would be the way that I would do it, just personally. I feel like a lot of great records have been made that way. Imagine, you know, John Lennon, that record, he recorded it in his kitchen, you know, and that's one of the best records I feel like of all time. So there's no right way to do it. I would just say whatever you do, if it works, then that's the right way to do it.
Do you see it being maybe a trend going forward, or are you like familiar with any musicians that have used crowdfunding?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not really, no.
Yeah, because they were it was a $26,000 goal.
Yeah, which was...
And they were at 19,000 like the day before.
There's a few things they want to do with it. Yeah, recording a new album, but also going out on tour and promotion.
Yeah.
Like, I think the way that they were approaching it, and we love those guys. Like, they're fantastic guys. I think the way that they were approaching it was like to kind of get a little bit of a leg up and then snowball it forward. Because when you're self-funding everything, you can self-fund, and then all you're trying to do is break even at the end of the year. You know? And then you just have to do the same thing. And I'm sure, you can resonate with that.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, if we can get a little bit of an injection to do some things well, then we can kind of snowball that forward.
Totally.
And I like that makes a lot of sense to me. It's something that I've even thought about doing for Reno Live, because there's a bunch of stuff that we want to do with the studio here and what we want to provide to Reno. But it was interesting because I was unfamiliar with an artist doing that before.
You guys doing it makes total sense, because this to me is like almost a community aspect. You know, like you guys are involved in the community, and I think that the community should be involved with you guys too. So that to me seems totally reasonable.
Yeah, it was just an interesting thing, and I was totally supportive of them. We had them in here to like talk about it, and we put that out, and I had no problem doing that. But it's just kind of an interesting conversation.
It is a lot more costly, I feel like, in a band, traveling wise. You know, because I don't think unless you're selling out clubs, like it is hard to make money.
Right.
And I think that, you know, if you're doing these 3-hour bar gigs where maybe you're making $400 and you got 5 people in the band, like.
And your lodging is now, like 2 rooms or 3 rooms.
Yeah. I mean, the last band that we toured heavily in, we would just get 1 room and it was 5 of us with our light show guys. So 6 of us. And I slept on the floor every night. Like, I was just like, guys, like, I'm the youngest one. I'll just sleep on the floor. Like, I'm fine with that.
There's like that trade-off, because like that same band we're talking about, they're like, we have cried in our van together, you know? And like, it is a little bit more expensive, but then the trade-off is like, you got your buddies.
The camaraderie is just
it's like,
different.
we're all in this together, and it kind of gives you that motivation, like you're not alone. And it's just like, if you were sleeping in your van, just crying at night all by yourself, you're like, why am I doing this? It's just me. And you know,
I've had those moments.
Yeah. I'm sure
I definitely have had those moments for sure. I do love traveling with the band though. It's
just different dynamic.
It's so much fun, and especially if it's with people that you like outside of the band genuinely love and care about. It's really the funnest thing I've ever done in my life. You know, it's also hell a lot of the time, you know, but having people around you that you know are going to have your back is tremendously important.
Well, that's what actually really made this whole event possible. Was it was kind of during the time the last time you came, but all these artists that we were bringing on the podcast, that's when the ball really started to roll. And then it just didn't feel like, because Joel and I wanted to do an event for a long time, and we had so many ideas where like, I don't really, we don't know where to start, right?
Yeah.
And then we brought on, J-Rad kind of just started it all. We were just like, let's just start the podcast.
Yeah.
And so J-Rad was on, and then all of a sudden it was just like, oh my gosh, we have like May and June booked already, just like that, just having the one podcast. And then we switched over to our idea of the live stream event, and then it's like, oh, we can get this band that we just had on, and then it just like you were just saying, like the community.
Oh yeah.
It. And Joel and I weren't alone on it, and that's how we got it done, because we had so much support from everyone else, and then you just like run with it, and it just like motivates you and encourages you to get it done. Because if we didn't have that, I mean, Joel and I could have been planning it out in our heads for 2.5 more years.
Yeah, right. When you know,
which we would have.
When you know people believe in you, I feel like it like lights a little fire under your butt there. Really does. Like it's like, all right, well, like people like this. Let's do something. And I that kind of encouragement is extremely important for what any sort of like, this is like an entertainment thing, any sort of like entertainment, or where you're doing something where you're putting yourself out. Having that encouragement is definitely important, because there's plenty of disencouragement out there. Like there's plenty of that. There's a lot of reasons not to do the things that we love, but at the end of the day, it's the most rewarding as far as we know, this is the only life we got, so we might as well not waste it.
Yeah. Yeah, you were mentioning before the podcast, because you played at the Lodge last night, and we partnered with them with the live stream. They did the live watch party, and you were just mentioning how like you feel like they care.
Oh yeah,
like they care about not just the people that they're bringing in, but they're off this little mountain road.
Yeah,
in off the main drag part of town. But they've definitely built a little community there.
For sure, yeah.
And I think that...
people came out last night to, like, see me play that I didn't know, which is great. You don't really expect that a lot of the time in a spot like that, where it's like, I don't know anybody there,
right.
Like, at all. Not even... I don't know anyone other than you guys. I don't really know anyone in this town, so...
Did you reach out to them, or how'd you get connected?
Yeah, I reached out to them because I just saw some buddies playing there, like J-Rad and my buddy Nick played
there when we had him on.
So it's that's kind of part of like touring, is like that's an easy way to find like places to play. Is like, well, where are other people playing? That's a lot of like my research is like just seeing where other people play.
If that's where we probably would have sent you first, if you'd
the Lodge.
Reached out to us at the Lodge, just because, again, it's a small place, but we just know, like, we know that they're into it.
Yeah. Well, Carly was so cool last night. I mean, she bought a couple shirts after, which, like, she didn't have to do that, like, she really didn't have to do that. And right when I got there, she's like, just whatever you need, like, just let me know. And that just already makes me, like, have such a better, like, attitude when I get there.
It's just like what you were saying with that vote of confidence.
100%. Like, I wanted to play good, even though there was maybe like 20 people there. I'm like, I'm going to play as good as I possibly can tonight, because, like, for one, people came out to see me, and they're nice. It's like, it just makes the environment so much better. I don't know. You deal with a lot of people. You walk in, they hate their job, they don't want to be there, they don't care that you're there. And it's just like, you almost feel like a burden. You're like, right. I'm sorry that they asked me to play music here tonight. Like,
right. Yeah. Well, it's almost like you're there to fix their problem.
Right. Yeah.
They're bringing you in to bring them business or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think that it's just so much easier if everyone's just nice to each other.
What a concept.
It's crazy really concept.
Would. It really is. It's just like, if everyone just did their little part.
Yeah.
You don't have to take it all on, but it's just like, if everyone did it, how much better.
If everyone does a little, no one has to do a lot. And I like that quote a lot, because I feel like we're all in this world together, like, we all have to, we're here. We got to deal with each other regardless, so let's just like be nice to each other and support each other.
Say more about the blues community.
I would so really it's not like it's big or anything, but they have on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays, they have open jams at a couple different bars that are actually pretty fun. you know, it's generally like a lot of blues stuff, but you know, you see the same people there every single week. And there's people that like, you know, are musicians, but they can't do it full time or something like that, and just want to get out and play. And so it's fun. This guy Alan comes and takes videos of people he's at every single jam, and he's this old British dude that just loves music. He's a cool dude. I don't know. It's I would say for like within like a 10-mile radius for there to be like multiple blues jams in Salt Lake, like I don't think people would necessarily expect that. So there's definitely like a lot of opportunity to get out and just play, even if you don't want to, you know, have a set gig, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people to play with, which is cool.
I can't remember if it was you or last time you were here or J.Rad, but you mentioned kind of like there's like a punk rock scene.
Oh,
in Salt Lake.
Yeah, there definitely is.
Okay.
Like I would say like punk.
Underground or like
pretty underground.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like it might be like going away a little bit, maybe because I'm like not involved as much in the like venue shows, but I would say like, you know, like that kind of like death metal, whatever. Like there is like a scene for that there for sure. I'm personally not involved in it because I'm not really my cup of tea, but yeah, there was. I mean, growing up, there definitely was. There was a lot of bands growing up. Yeah, we have Kilby Court and Urban Lounge, and Kilby Court's the all ages venue, and I mean they have shows there almost every night, and it used to be a lot of locals. Don't really associate with those people much anymore, but back when I was, you know, coming of age in high school and early college, there was definitely a lot of like psych bands and just like a fun community. I feel like.
Yeah. Reno's not like, so we have like our own little underground punk scene here and some indie bands. And I think Patrick was kind of saying that there's only like kind of like really a few remaining bands left that are like trying to actively like, you know, what they're doing, like crowdfunding and trying to make it and record music and then tour. But I was just wondering if like, Salt Lake kind of had like a band environment where you have a lot of bands trying to make it rather than like solo artists or anything. Because I feel like Reno here, we definitely do support local music, but there's not really like a great blueprint of like bands to like form, make it big, do the grind, and then, you know, and so like I don't really. There's Surf Curse that came out of Reno, but we don't really have like a lot of bands that come out of here.
I honestly, not to my like knowledge, I don't personally know a lot of bands that aren't already like. I have a few friends that are like in bands that are already like kind of successful, but I would say a lot of people are kind of trending towards like performing solo and then like hiring like bands when they want to do stuff. There's definitely quite a bit of, you know, bars on Fridays and Saturdays that will have bands do the 3-hour set and whatnot. But I wouldn't say those bands are necessarily trying to make it per se. You know, I'm sure they would love to, but I don't think that they're like, you know.
Not like back in the day where just like it was the dog eat dog. Yeah. And like bands were just like.
It's a lot of dad rock bands and that kind of stuff, you know, go in and play some Journey or something, you know, and it's like, God bless him, you know, but I'm not going to sit there for 3 hours.
Yeah. Man, the world has changed so much because like our parents grew up in the garage bands heaven, you know, like
Oh yeah.
Like everybody had a band after school in someone's garage. Like that was, you know, 60s, 70s. That's what you did. I just don't.
You familiar with the movie Detroit Rock City?
No.
Yeah. I have not seen it. No.
Oh, fellas. You're gonna love this movie. It's just like a garage band kids in high school that are like just diehard Kiss fans, and it's just the whole movie's them trying to get to Detroit to see Kiss and just the shenanigans that they go through. It's a really good movie. One of the scenes, The drummer, his mom's like a crazy like Christian lady. Not that Christians are crazy, but she's crazy and Christian. And she like ends up, finds out that he's going to Kiss, and she like burns the tickets in front of him, sends him to Catholic school. And so the boys come in and rescue him, and they deliver a pizza to the priest or pastor, whatever guy, and they put magic mushrooms on the pizza. Next thing you know, the dude's just like off his rocker. He's like, Satan, Santa, they're the same letters. They're the same guy. And it's one of the best rock and roll movies of all time. I do love
those, like, the Satan rock comparison. You've seen Walk Hard?
Oh, yeah, of course.
And, Dewey Cox is like in the ska kind of era.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He's singing about hold my hand. And then the priest comes, he's like, you know who else has hands? The devil. And he uses them for holding. But that was like so true. Like that is like when the whole British new wave rock, like Beatles and Stones came out. Like that's what that parents' generation thought of that music was, just like devil worshiping. And now you like look back at it's like, that is what you thought was devil worshiping?
Yeah.
Now
there's
like
the memes actual? I've seen some shorts where they'll put, the Beatles
black and white Beatles one.
Beatles like on the Ed Sullivan show, but they,
it's
overlay.
like death metal over it. Oh, dude.
This is what your parents thought this sounded like, right?
It's just screamo and oh yeah. I mean, I think that they were like the rebellious ones is so they're suit and tie.
That shows you how conservative life was.
Oh yeah.
50s and prior to that.
Oh yeah.
We felt like the Beatles were like the most rebellious thing to ever come out.
Yeah.
They did end up being pretty rebellious, but not at the beginning.
No.
They were tidy boy band, you know? Like they were
kind of like, in my opinion, the first boy band.
Yeah, oh for sure.
Yeah.
Like as an actual band, there was like Buddy Holly before that kind of stuff. But like as a band, they were definitely like I would say at least the first commercially successful one.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a great band.
Man.
My goodness. I don't trust people that say they don't like the Beatles. Like have you ever met someone? Do you like the Beatles?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I don't know if I've ever met anyone who's like, oh, I hate the Beatles.
They give me the heebie-jeebies. Yeah,
I tend not to associate with those people.
Yeah, I just inherently don't trust those people.
So you're playing the Odeon tonight.
Yeah.
In Dayton.
Yeah, Halloween show tonight.
That's right. Happy Halloween. And happy Nevada Day.
Oh, yeah, it's Nevada Day. That's right.
Day. Yeah, and it's on a Friday. For the
double
first time.
Whammy. Triple whammy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we have a wasted opportunity in the state of like going. So there is an actual business holiday that is observed in the state called Nevada Day, but it's always, so I think it is today only because it's Friday, but it's always like the last Friday of October.
Okay.
So if Halloween's on a Wednesday, they're going to do it that Friday prior because everyone wants their 3-day weekend. And it's like, honestly, I just think take November 1st off.
Yeah.
Actually, 31st off and the 1st off. And then that way you can celebrate, like the kids can celebrate Halloween.
Yeah, because they're two totally different things.
Yeah. And then we can all just like go all out on Halloween night and then like not worry about November 1st in the morning either.
What's the name of this venue you're playing at?
The Odeon.
The Odeon.
Yeah, it's an old historic theater. Actually, Marilyn Monroe did a play there back in like the late 50s, I want to say. So I don't know. It's just like a random spot, like total like Western cowboy, little main street, and it's like an old saloon. It's a cool spot. I really like it.
It's awesome.
Sure, there's some like ghosts or spooky stuff in there, because anything with that much history and
we have that around up in. Have you been to Virginia City?
Yeah,
yeah. They have a few up there that are considered haunted, but it's kind of like the same vibe, time era as like.
I like those. There. I like those old Western towns. Like they just any sort of like old American town that you can tell's been there since like the 1800s.
Yeah.
It's like whoa. It's just like has a quaint little vibe, which is cool.
It's so funny because I agree with you.
Yeah.
And then I married a Ukrainian, and that part of the world's been around
forever. Yeah.
Like her hometown, I think, was founded in like 800.
Yeah.
Going through Europe too, like those towns. I mean, it's funny. My folks were just in Italy and France for my mom's 50th birthday. And just the architecture they have out there that has been standing for so long is truly magnificent. To think that people were building like these insane mathematical structures in like 1,000 years ago is like mind blowing. Mm-hmm. There has to have been some sort of like higher entity like helping these people. There's just no way. Like, there's no way.
But yeah, Western United States, it's funny about what we consider history old, because then the east side of the country is much older. But then
across the pond,
Europe it's like, you guys don't know anything.
Oh, yeah. We played it
in the Middle East.
Middle East.
Oh, yeah.
That's China.
We played this show in Spain with this old band, and it was a castle that was 800 years old. And it was one of the coolest, also most terrifying shows I've ever played in my life, because it was pouring rain. And we were outside, and all they did was just like put a blue tarp over us with all of our we're full band. This thing had probably 100 gallons of water on. And like, dude, if that one little goes, this is like, we're done. Like, it's over. And before the show, all of our, like, we were all wearing cowboy boots, and all of our boots were shocking us. Like, we couldn't touch our guitars. We were getting shocked. So they gave us these like old horse riding boots that like went up to your knee, and that we had to play in those while it was pouring rain at this like 800-year-old Spanish castle. It was kind of epic. I'm not gonna lie. It was
That's sick.
It was pretty epic.
How did that come about?
It was the band I was in last. We did the Europe tour a couple years ago, and we played this festival in Portugal, and then went up to Spain after that. Because we went up to like the top, like the northwestern corner of Spain, which is gorgeous, and just this. I don't even know how we got linked up with them, but they gave us like our own apartment for like 5 days, and they're like, nice. You guys just need to just play one show, and we'll feed you for the week, and you guys can just hang out in Spain. And we're like, okay.
Spanish hospitality.
Sounds awesome. Yeah. So that was a really good time. They were really funny story. On the U.S. tour before that, Sean, the bass player, we were driving from Tulsa and we were heading to Wichita. And it was after we were driving like late at night after the gig. It was probably like 1 a.m. or so. And we hit a deer in the middle of Oklahoma, like just middle of nowhere. So we're stuck on the side of the road. I mean, we're probably 30 miles from any town. We're there till like 7, 8 in the morning. Tow truck comes and picks us up, takes us to town. And it's Sunday and everything's closed. And we're like, what are we going to do? And so the next day we get into the shop and the guy's like, it's about a 2-week wait to fix your van. And we're like, well, that's just not possible. Like, we're not going to be stuck in Stillwater, Oklahoma for the next 2 weeks. Like, one of their mechanics hears about it, and he's a drummer, and he's like, I'm fixing your van today. So we ended up leaving. I think it took him like a day and a half. And so he got it fixed. I think we missed 2 shows and drove 18 hours to Salt Lake or however far it was. Wow. So Sean crashes the van with the deer. We're in Spain, and they give us a van to use. And we're pulling out to go get cigarettes, and Sean's like, well, I want to drive. Like, I know how to drive stick. And he just sideswipes this brick wall in the van. And we're all like, all of us are just devastated. We're like, dude, we crashed the van. Like, what are they? They're feeding us. They're letting us stay here. And we just wrecked the van. And we get back to the castle. We take it back, and we're like, Piro, like, we don't know what to tell you, man. Like, Sean sideswiped the van. And Piro's like, you idiots. I knew you were going to crash that one. That's why I gave you that van. And we're just, dude, we just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't. It was so funny because all of us were just like, how are we going to tell them? Like, just so scared. And he just didn't even care. It was just so funny. Those are good people over there, man. I'll tell you what.
Oh my God.
So Sean was no longer allowed to drive. He not that he wasn't allowed. He elected to never drive again.
I wouldn't allow him.
Lonnie,
he was voluntold.
Yeah. Lonnie would get seizures, so he never drove. Tawny sideswiped a van in Minneapolis or something, so she wasn't allowed to drive. And then Parker would get drunk all the time, so I was the only one that drove for like the entire U.S. like the entire time. That kind of sucked, but really funny. Those are some tour shenanigans.
Good grief.
So speaking of tours, you just last night played at the Lodge and just started the fall tour.
Yep.
Yeah. You want to talk a little bit about that and where you're headed here?
Yeah, I've been trying to make travel light. I don't want to drive 6 hours and have to play a show every day. So I've been kind of like making it to where like I'll do three or four like in an area. So I've got 3 out here in like the Reno area last night, tonight and tomorrow in Carson City, and then Santa Cruz on Sunday night. And I think I'm gonna go up to San Francisco and go golfing on Monday.
I have seen on the socials you golf a fair amount.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I gotta.
The last time you were on the pod, I think you went straight out golfing.
I did. Yeah. I had a great round too. I mean, for sure, shot a 76. I had a good time. But yeah, then I'm just gonna go down south. Got a gig in Santa Maria, which is like San Luis Obispo area, and then just kind of Southern California for I think about 10 days. So not too much like traveling. Getting lodging in Southern California is always kind of a pain.
Right.
I mean, I've got friends down there, but I try not to burden them. But if it comes down to it, I will ask some people to stay with them. And then just going to go back to Salt Lake, do like a week of shows there, and then doing a little tour with this other reggae band called Native Leaves that I play in. We'll go back to San Diego and Tucson. We've got a couple shows in Tucson, which actually our show in Tucson's already sold out, which is cool.
Nice.
So it's with a few other like reggae bands. So that'll be a good time. I'm looking forward to that. I like playing with those guys.
Nice. You mentioned before leaving you wanted to just kind of share a track with us. Is there a bunch of upcoming music or what's on the horizon?
I've just been trying to do like singles and short EPs at a time. So I think this will be the last song that I'll release for the year, and it's called Winter Woman. And I released like this like funk, kind of like psychedelic-y song called Summer Sun. So this is like the sister to Summer Sun's called Winter Woman. And I think it sounds pretty rad. I'm really happy with how it came out.
Sick.
Yeah.
Where'd you, what was the recording process?
So that was the one I recorded in the basement with my friend Adam he's actually in that band Native Leaves.
Okay.
So he's got some pretty decent, recording equipment. So we tracked guitar and drums at the same time. And we did it on third take, which was great. I picked up Lonnie, who was in that band El Perro. He's the best drummer I personally know. He's like an octopus. I don't know how he does it, but picked him up. He had been up all night partying with the boys. We get back to the house. I buy him 2 slices of pizza from 7-Eleven and get him a water. And he just like takes a dirt nap on the couch. Like he's just out cold. I'm like sound checking the drums. His head's right by the cymbal. And I'm just like, it doesn't even fade. Like he didn't even wake up. It took me a minute to like wake him up. I'm like, Lonnie, like it's time, buddy. It's time to record. And he just like wakes up. He's like, what? I'm like, let's go. And he just gets behind the kit and just lays down the tastiest. I'm like, this guy's an animal, dude. They don't make a lot of people like that, you know? So
born to do it.
Yeah. And we did it. He never, like, I just came up with a riff. I just knew I wanted to record a song that was kind of like more riff based. Cause everything that I have been doing previously is more like folk, country kind of like progressions. And I knew I just kind of wanted one with like a little more of a rock vibe, and just like a riff. Like I wanted a riff, you know, that like people could like have in their head. So I kind of just noodling around, came up with a little riff, and when he got behind the kit, we just came up with the structure right then, done in 3 takes, and that was it. So it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm happy to share it with you guys too. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, we'll go into the control room and play
definitely want
play
to
over this.
blast that out.
Sweet.
Yeah. So you were mentioning earlier like January, February, kind of blank, and then you kind of look at that and kind of get you going in motion.
Yeah.
What's your specific kind of process like? And does it vary between like winter and summer? Is it like 2 months as to when it approaches, then you start kind of getting on it? Or
I'll generally be looking 4 months in advance and then try to start booking like 3 months in advance.
Okay.
It is always different when you're going into a different year because a lot of places like, generally during the year, I feel like booking 3 months out is pretty typical. But right now, I'm reaching out for like beginning of February and places are like, well, we're not booking that far yet, So you kind of run into like some places book 4 months in advance, some places book 2 months in advance. So I think kind of just like keeping like a mental map of when places book so you can like
kind of do it all at once. Yeah. So then you don't have to like logistically kind of screw yourself over.
Yeah.
And then like we pass through that town, go to that one, but now they're available to book, but now it's out of the way.
Yeah. So just a lot of like logistics that you have to plan out. It's not like rocket science, but it is.
Does work though.
The hardest thing for me personally is that I'm kind of at the mercy of other people when I'm booking shows. And that's probably the most frustrating thing is because I can do my part by reaching out, but I have to rely on people getting back to me. And that to me is like where probably most of my like, I don't know if it's frustration or like probably more like just angst comes from in that whole process. But this is what I signed up for, so just got to deal with it.
Can you talk a little bit about, we had you in here before, but we didn't put anything out. Just tell us a little bit about your music, your style, and how you got into it, and a little bit more of your music journey.
Well, I started playing music like pretty young, and it was like all like classical piano and a little bit of jazz piano. And I honestly didn't really like playing music when I was a kid, but I was like, honestly, like really talented at it just from the persistence level. My grandma would wake me up at 6 a.m. before school, and I'd play for 2 hours before school, and then I'd get home and I would play until dinner. And that was pretty much every day from when I was 3 until I was 10. And I think I kind of just like, it definitely got in me, but I didn't like understand it yet. So I think once I started skateboarding when I was like 15, and we're all a bunch of hoodlums listening to AC/DC, and I was like, damn, Guitar Hero, this is kind of cool, And honestly, Guitar Hero, like you just feel like there's something about it where you're just like, ding, like that just like felt cool, and so I was like, maybe I'll just start playing guitar, and it kind of started with like, pretty typical bands for that age, like Guns N' Roses, and now the first 2 albums I had on my iPod that I had for like a year, and that was it, was Appetite for Destruction and Master of the Puppets. And I was just the kid in 8th grade that just put in my headphones and turned the volume all the way up and was just like, like, yeah, I'm cool, wasn't cool at all. But, I think just rock and roll, like just kind of, it just like struck a chord with me, no pun intended. But, and then once I like really started getting into playing guitar, I think it was like finding like Pink Floyd. I think Pink Floyd and like honestly like starting to smoke weed and just like jamming. Like I was like, wow, like this is just, I've never felt anything like this before, just jamming. I was like, this is so cool, play just a guitar and drums. I was like, this is crazy. I think things kind of just stemmed from there, got into the Stones and Zeppelin and Eric Clapton. And I think Clapton definitely like introduced me into a lot of like different types of music, and like the foundations of that whole British rock their foundation was American blues. And so I was like, well, what are these guys listening to? And so, kind of stemmed into that and got really into Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan's just a great songwriter. So I feel like just it all kind of came from those artists just really like digging what they were doing. And then I went to college and studied music theory and jazz in school, which kind of ended up messing me up a little bit. I feel like, because if you get too like analytical about creating, it's hard to create. I feel like you get a little disingenuine with your process.
I feel like the people who are so good at music theory are the ones that never like made it and successfully, because like Rick Beato, he's like absolute like music theory like master, but he's done a lot of producing work, and I'm sure he took a stab at like being a band, but he knows the technical side of all that, but it's the creative side that really like blows you up.
Totally.
Right? Like Nirvana and Kurt Cobain. Kurt Cobain didn't know what he was doing like on a technical level on the guitar, but it didn't matter because like it came from,
because it rocked.
It rocked. It came from the soul, and then
that's the word. The soul is you lose the soul when
you lose the soul, and then you have Dave Grohl back there who doesn't know a single like note on the guitar, and he's like. He's like the Beethoven of this like generation, right? Like one of the greatest drummers and frontman, singer, guitarist, Foo Fighters. And so it's like you had those two in like the same band, but then you'll have someone who's just like, I personally think music theory is important.
It's important. It's important to know.
It's important to know. And like my mom was a piano teacher. I grew up with the piano always being played on in the house, and she had like, I come home after school and there would just be like 4 or 5 hours of students lined up, and my mom was always just like very, she appreciated the reading music aspect of it. And I took violin in school, so I knew how to do that a little bit. But when I started picking up guitar, because we kind of had like, listening to your story, kind of felt like the same upbringing in high school with the garage band aspect. And I didn't know anything. I went on Ultimate Guitar for tabs.
Yep, I go on there all the time.
And and now I do. Do you know? Oh my gosh, I don't always know his name.
Marty.
Not Marty Schwartz. Carl, 365 guitar.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Because he'll just bang out a whole hour YouTube video and just tell you how to play, like note for note on everything. Because I don't even really have a great ear. That's just how I learn. It's just kind of like you showing me how to do it. But there's. Yeah, it's that balance.
Totally.
It's like
you need to know it.
Here's my take on it.
Yeah.
So tune in.
No, I want it.
Well, first off, what's popular isn't technical.
Yeah.
So you can't gauge, popularity as a test of musicianship or something like that. I think you can get really far with soul. Mm-hmm. You can't get super far in like popularity with knowledge. But if you can get both, that's when you get Mozart. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, so I think the musicians of the highest caliber on both the stage and in the studio, as far as like technical ability, even if they're not topping the top 40 charts, it's the ones that have soul, but they also have extensive knowledge. Because the way that I think you need to look at it is, if you have something in your head, the knowledge can help you get it to your fingers faster, into the onto the track faster. You can get there because you you have the idea, you have the soul, know? But then to be able to interpret that into being able to get it done properly, that's where technical knowledge can really help.
100%. Yeah. You definitely want to be like as proficient at your instrument as possible. I that is like it, at whatever it is that you do. Like that's kind of something that I don't know if I've learned it or it's just kind of like made sense to me, is that whatever like style or however you play, just learn how to be the best at that. And that will like ultimately open a lot of like doors for you as far as like creating, because I'm never going to be a jazz guitar player. Like I'm just that's just not, you know, I can,
right. Neil was Kurt Cobain.
You know, I could,
for example,
I could play like, you know, over summertime and do a little, but that's just not who I am. What I've learned is that like the things, like I've learned what music I create.
Yeah.
And how to be the best at that. And
I think,
I'm not there yet.
Like when you're saying like going to school and getting too technical can kind of mess you up. I think that's probably what you meant, right? It's like, well, this is what I am good at. Like, yeah, we send the members of Nirvana to Juilliard. Is not, the product's not going to be what you want.
No. Right. Well, it's like, for me, it got to where I was like, when I was playing, like I'd be, you know, soloing over something and I would be thinking about like the notes in that chord and where I should be landing, what I should be doing.
It's not you're like overthinking.
Yeah. Where you lose like your intuitive, like creative side if you're in that.
Can I relate this to sports really quick?
Oh yeah.
So I played volleyball in college and I coached for about a decade. And after almost putting in my 10 years as a coach, like where you really start becoming proficient, understanding things, because the club I coached for, we were really like our forte was teaching fundamental, like physical fundamentals, so movement and everything. And the whole idea is like you start a kid with the knowledge and the fundamentals, but a player who's playing in a professional league is not going to be doing those same things. But you have to, and so with music, like if you start with the fundamentals and you understand the language of music, once you get to a certain point, then you can start breaking those rules.
Totally.
But you need, like, it's best to still understand them and know where you can deviate from.
I agree with that.
So like you said, if you're always thinking about the notes in this chord and where I'm going to land, that's not good. But the idea is getting to a point where you know all of the possible landings you could have and what they're going to do to the music.
Right.
And therefore maybe, you know, not thinking of it as this is where I should land, but this is where I can land. And then I'm going to make a decision on that creatively. Yeah. To where I want to go.
Totally.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it was like kind of, and it would really get me in like writing chord progressions. It's like, oh, I know the 5 needs to resolve back to the 1, but it's like, maybe it doesn't.
Right.
You know, like
that
that
kind of stuff.
You
also know that the 1, you can substitute that 1 for the minor 6.
Right. Yeah.
And then you can make that choice. It's like, I want this to have that darker feel. So let's resolve somewhere else. Or maybe let's do, you know, the, you know, land on a major 2 of it, you know, and like totally throw for a loop, but like at least you know the options that you have.
Right.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yep. I think for me, writing songs has always just been like listening to songs that I like and just like trying to do something like that. You know, I'm not gonna do the chord progression exactly the same, but like taking inspiration from like other musicians that has been like passed down to us, like that's kind of what we're just gonna, you know, you'll do your own unique take, and I think that that's really important.
Speaking of Rick Beato, when he interviewed Stuart Copeland, drummer for the Police, he was talking about how he doesn't love, like, I don't remember if he was saying he doesn't love performing, but like the audience, because the Police are so big, and their tracks are so well known, and what Stuart Copeland does on the drums is so ingrained in people. They want to hear that. They want to hear the whatever drum fill at the, you know, the end of Message in a Bottle, or whatever it is. But he's like, I never play the same thing twice.
But it's his style, so it's like you almost like don't even know, you know, like
no, but he was talking about like people would get mad at him for not playing a certain thing.
That's just silly.
It is, but yeah, it's just funny where it's like, yeah.
Well, bands like that. I mean, myself, you know, like we're generally like improvising musicians. That's how like a lot of songs end up getting written, is by just making it up, you know?
Right.
So I think that like that's part of the like fun of like playing live.
Sure.
Is that you're not playing the, like that studio take
when
was
you
like,
get to a certain point where you're so popular and people are they want to come. They want to come and hear your record played live.
Yeah, I get that.
I think at that point you just need to broaden your musical tastes there a little bit, because like I saw a Tool that's listening to the record live.
Yeah,
like that is not a band that improvises. That is a band
they're playing it note for note.
They note for note. They do takes like in practice, like 20 times. Like it is precision. But I mean that's like what prog rock. Well, not all prog rock, but that's what Tool is for sure. And then you have like I think a blues, a lot of blues influenced rock bands. You know, like I know Joe Perry didn't play the same Sweet Emotion solo ever, twice. You know, it's just like the whole thing is just it's just music theory, and then you're just improvising on it, and that's what makes live music awesome. Like sometimes you're not seeing like the record, you know, like there's just different musical tastes for that, and
there's a place for both, you know. There's a place for Tool where that's what they're playing, you know, and that's hard to do, you know, especially with their
15-minute songs.
With their songs, like they're not easy to do. No, but I just personally like just being like a blues player, like that's just we improvise, you know. That's just like part of the fun. It's like what kind of sounds am I going to make tonight, you know? It's just fun.
And that's where it kind of comes back into like the music theory thing, because it's a science, and you know, like there's a time and place for it, but then like you know, if you lean one that way too much, you know, like that's where you need the balance for it, because that's where creativity comes out.
Totally.
And,
I mean, Hotel California, they're playing that solo the same way every time, you know? And people expect
then you have some that are just so well known, like I mean, I was gonna say Stairway, but Jimmy Page never played. I mean,
he didn't play the same.
Played,
you know,
like a 5-minute solo live.
He'd play the same like opening lick. You know, there'd be like highlights from the studio.
And you'll take like little sections of solos, that are very recognizable. But then when you're going into when you're bridging it to another section, you know, improvise it a little bit. But then there's
I love that when you hear like they'll like highlight a part of it and then like go into something else, and then they'll like touch on the key lick again. Like that's, I know, like, I love that.
It is true that some of the magic of certain music is the riff itself. You know, Money for Nothing isn't going to be the same if you improvise that line.
Right.
Like you have to nail that, because that's the magic of the song. And then you can work around it. But
it's where you kind of like, everything is kind of like accenting like the main part of the song. So then like, it's like the build up, and then you get the recognizable sound, and then
people go crazy.
I saw David Gilmour last year at the Hollywood Bowl.
I was trying to go to that show. I wanted to so bad.
Oh, dude.
Have you been to the bowl yet?
Yes. I saw the Postal Service and Death Cab there. Iconic venue.
Oh, yeah.
Iconic.
What was that like?
Just got the chills. But I mean, hearing him like comfortably numb, like, you know, it's like not the same exactly, but like the beginning of the solo, like just that first note, you're just like, like that's it, you know, like that's it.
If I don't see David Gilmour, I'm gonna regret that so much.
I don't know if we told you. So we, Jeff Beck played at the GSR here in Reno for the last show of his tour in year 2022
with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, it was
no way.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
We both got to go see that show, and that ended up being his last concert before he died.
Ever.
And so we were both just like, okay, we got to go see these people.
And I remember you kind of got tickets kind of late, and you were like, I'm gonna do it. Like,
and that was a thought. Like I've been thinking, as you know, especially being here in Reno, where not a lot of people come through town. Like if they're gonna come, like. Because I missed Eric Johnson played at Cargo for us, and I didn't know until that was one of the reasons we started Reno Live. Like I didn't know
$20.
I would have gone and seen Eric Johnson for $30.
Oh,
at a small like a medium venue here. Like, but I didn't know until after the fact. But yeah, you got to see these people.
After Tom Petty died, and I didn't ever get to see Tom, I was like, any chance I get to see like someone that I really like admire and love their music, I have to go.
One of my best friends, his wife, got to see Tom's last
the Hollywood Bowl ones.
No, it was what's his other band? Mud something.
is that?
It was
Is Mike Campbell in that with him? I know what you're talking about. I feel like it was the original members from when they first started in what was that town there? Gainesville. They're from Gainesville, Florida.
Dang, why? Oh man,
I know what you're talking about though.
It was his other band, and it's like his third to last show, and like his wife is like massive Tom Petty fan, and because that was pre-COVID. That was a little while ago. That was 2016, 2017.
I want to say he died in 2017.
Okay. And then, Jeff Beck's show, that was 20, you just said it, 22, yeah. And you just like never know. Like,
oh, yeah.
Beatles. No one thought Candlestick Park, 1968
was the last
1968. Yeah, it was the last time you're ever going to see the Beatles.
Yeah,
that was in their their heyday.
Oh yeah.
We're not even talking about just like someone in their 70s or 80s anymore. It's like you never know.
I know. Tom was just so unexpected too, because like he wasn't like as old as he was a little bit younger than everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that just
60s
sucked.
That
one sucked.
And it just, Ozzy.
I mean,
I tried really hard to go see Ozzy.
I saw Black Sabbath
by the
on the end tour.
Oh god.
And I was like 10th row, so I was like right there.
Dude. That's something you'll cherish for the rest of your life.
I swear to God, Tony Iommi looked at me during Fairies Wear Boots. Like I just feel like he looked.
he's like,
I was like, yes,
yeah, you,
yes. I people may dispute it. I'm pretty sure that he looked at me though.
Yeah. That's like, speaking of like why we started Reno Live is like, my dad moved here in 74, freshman year of high school. And they're just like, it was just a different time.
Yeah.
Different bands, like just traveling through here, and it just wasn't the same. Just the music industry worked different. We had one guy, a local promoter on, and, he didn't have the answers. I also don't think there's one single answer anyways, but he brought up a good point. Or an interesting point of after the explosion of grunge, people's touring patterns really changed, and Reno kind of got the short end of the stick about that one, because then instead of going from like Colorado, Utah, straight over through I-80 into the Sierras, people would they'd go up to Seattle and then Portland, and then come down to the Bay, and then and so it's like all of a sudden we just got like kind of skipped over. And there's, did we talk about Setlist FM?
No.
Last time do you use that? Do you know what that is? It's kind of like a Wikipedia for concert.
Okay. Did you look up like what the band played at their?
What band played? Yeah, it's just all like a bunch of stats.
Yeah, I've done that. I've looked up I actually looked up the David Gilmour one because someone told me he wasn't playing any Pink Floyd songs. I was like, you're out of your GD mind if you think that he's not playing Pink Floyd songs.
There would never not be like 6 Pink Floyd hits in a David Gilmour.
Why would he
solo.
not? He started out with Dark Side of the Moon. He played the first half of the record. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was epic.
But with the solo stuff, I can look back and see all the bands that used to come through Reno, and we have Lawler Event Center up at the university, which has been neglected since largely 2002,
Oh, wow.
And but everyone in the night, like Tom Petty,
yeah,
and they're like the 80s,
yeah,
and not even in the 90s, and Sync and Whitney Houston and Beastie Boys, Run DMC, and Metallica, Guns N' Roses, and then this isn't even, Joel's been here 8 years now. Obviously he knows it, but that's not even just new for that. It's no, that's kind of largely for me too, being born and raised here. It's it just, something in the 90s really changed, and Reno hasn't been the same in terms of that, but also the music industry isn't the same anyways either. But that's one of our big giant goals here.
The other thing you mentioned was Live Nation.
Oh yeah.
Live Nation basically buys.
Yeah,
for anybody notable, they just buy the whole tour and then they set where they, it's like Reno's not high on their priority list. There's not a lot of venues here that seat enough.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen the Stones yet and are fans, you should definitely go.
Yeah.
If they tour again, which I'm sure they will.
Yeah, you never know. Aerosmith just called it quits, and I was lucky to see them at their residency in Vegas.
Is that pretty sweet?
Oh my God. It was 67-year-old Steven Tyler just up there just screaming. And oh my God, there's nothing better.
Seen the
Didn't he just cut his hair?
I hope not.
I thought I just saw that on Instagram that he just he chopped off all his locks.
You heard it here first.
You've seen.
If not, I'm gonna. My reputation's going.
You've seen the meme of him where it's like Steven Tyler looks like the mom that will let you drink at the house. It's one of my favorite memes I've ever seen. It's so funny.
But yeah, actually, even a little bit before Jeff Beck, I tried to make a point to go see, because I grew up on classic rock. I got to see AC/DC before
Malcolm. Oh, dude.
Yeah. Well, actually, I saw AC/DC after Malcolm, but before he passed.
Yeah.
Because he stopped touring. But I saw him in 2010 on the Black Ice tour.
That's super cool.
And then I saw him in 2016, and he was still alive, but I mean, at that point, he wasn't touring.
Bad shape.
And then I saw him a couple years ago. It was AC/DC's first.
Didn't they have their brother, their little brother?
It's a nephew.
Okay.
Yeah. Stevie.
That's right.
Steve.
His last name's Young, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's because Angus and Malcolm had a brother.
Yeah.
Or maybe two brothers, and I think it's one of their kids.
Okay.
So it's just
that's cool though.
Yeah.
Angus has always been one of my favorite guitar players. I mean, that's about as genuine rock and roll as it gets.
He's always just said, genre wise, he's like, we're just rock and roll.
Yeah, that is it.
That is yeah.
Yeah, I love that band. I bought a SG. I loved the Doors when I first started. I loved Black Sabbath and I loved AC/DC. So that was the first real guitar I bought was an SG.
Going back to what we were talking about with finding your own sound on the instrument and creating your own, or having your influences, right, and things that people passed down before us, but then having your own voice. Angus is a perfect example of that, where he just took an SG, just power chords, right, and then running around wild on stage. But then it's what do you listen to? He listened to Chuck Berry.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He just listened to American blues.
Honestly,
that was he's not listening to what they're listening to versus what they're playing, or just you're how does this?
He's underrated in my opinion as a guitar player. I mean, his tone, the way he touches the guitar is it's just powerful. You can. I know how to play those songs, but I don't sound anything like that when I play those songs. There's just something
that was a struggle for me growing up in high school, because I wanted Jimmy Page was my biggest hero, and then AC/DC, and so the thing is Pink Floyd's one of my favorite bands. I couldn't play anything that David Gilmour plays, because my playing style is so much different than his, and it's just Dude, I can't even touch what you do. It's not even going to sound anywhere near. So I've always kind of gravitated towards what can I replicate sound like on the studio. And in high school, I just remember being so frustrated that I couldn't get my Epiphone LP100 in my little Line 6 Spider 4 to sound like Jimmy Page. It's you're not going to make it sound
you're preaching to the choir right now, man.
And I would just get so frustrated. It's why? I just want to sound like this.
Yeah.
And, when you're 14, understandable, but at some point you just kind of have to be you can take the influence from it, but it's in my opinion, Jimmy Page was one of the sloppiest players.
Oh, he was very sloppy.
One of the best players.
Very sloppy, though.
But what I think was really great about that is you can't replicate a sound.
No. The solo on the No Quarter from the Song Remains the Same live record is one of my favorite guitar solos of all time. If you haven't listened to that in a while, revisit.
It's been a little while, but that's one of my all-time.
It's just he comes in with the like the tastiest little lick at the beginning. You're like, whoa, like, whew, like gave a little chill up my spine. It was.
But I know a lot of people debate that, and it's like, no, dude, he was a sloppy player live, but it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It was just his sound, and they were the biggest rock band in the world in the 70s, you know? And so at some point, you just have to, like, give up on, like, being too perfect.
Oh, for sure.
On your own sound, and that's because I'm kind of a sloppy player.
I am a little bit in some ways, like too, for sure.
You know, and, like, talking about Eric Johnson.
Opposite.
Yeah. He's a... what's the word I'm looking for? That's
But then like Gary Clark Jr. now, he's his sound, you know, it's like their sound. I love Joe Bonamassa and I love Gary Clark Jr., but both totally different styles of blues playing. Like,
but then you have like Hendrix,
prog rock.
Then you have like Hendrix and Page, and it's just like, oh my god, slop, like slop, but it didn't matter.
It didn't matter,
and like you can argue that those are the top two best guitarists of like all time. And it just didn't matter. Like Jimi Hendrix was sloppy, but it was just like he still knew like what he could influence on the instrument. Yeah, that was kind of the cool part of it. Is like he's not just hitting every. So I think shred guitar is kind of boring.
I do too.
A lot of the time.
There's not I think that's why Clapton's always been one of my favorite players because he's a tasteful guitar player,
right?
You know, and same with like Duane Allman, like the Allman Brothers, like they're. You know, like, what they were playing was like technically pretty spectacular, but it doesn't. You
can appreciate it, but
it doesn't. It's not like
like everybody else.
Like there's like heart in the notes that are coming out.
Like why I think like if I'm making a top 5 guitarist of all time, like for me, I'm putting Eddie Van Halen on there. One, he was the first concert I ever saw. Like he was my,
way, that's super cool.
So he's like my guitar hero, right? But for a lot of different reasons, because he just like innovated the electric guitar. But I also think he's one of the best rhythm players of all time. Like his rhythm playing, like his understanding of music and rhythm, and like he knew how to make. He could just shred. But he knew how to make it into something where the way it wasn't flow was just so like nice. Just playing as fast as you can, playing the notes over, you know, and just kind of showing off. Like he took it to like another level where like I don't think anyone ever will. And
no,
you know,
when Eddie died, we used to record a lot at Sunset Sound, where they did I think they did Van Halen 1 and 2 there, in Studio 2.
I always forget they're in LA.
Yeah.
LA band.
Yeah. They were supposed to have Tom Morello come in and do like a Van Halen tribute. And I guess he was like all spooked at COVID or something. And so they called our band and I went in and the day after Eddie died, did Little Dreamer in Studio 2.
Whoa.
Which was kind of epic.
Yeah. Just kind of epic is an understatement.
Can it be found somewhere?
No, the producer that another prima donna lead singer got in an argument with the producer and they never put it out. I have it, but it's like not mixed or anything.
Yeah. Can I mix it?
I just have the audio file. I don't have like the tracks or anything.
Got it.
But yeah, that was I personally, I was never like a huge Van Halen fan growing up, but my dad definitely was. And that was just a total honor to like get to do that. I definitely didn't do it justice because I've just never really played that style, you know, but I had to learn Little Dreamer that night and drive up to LA.
Oh my gosh.
And so, yeah, it was kind of like overwhelming.
Yeah, no, that's really cool though.
You know, Nuno Betancourt from Extreme, Prince literally said top 3 guitarists of all time.
Prince is one of the best too.
Yeah, right?
Prince is a highly underrated guitarist.
Oh yeah.
And Nuno's like all-time hero is Eddie.
Oh, is it?
And he was talking about this interview one time because he got to be friends with him a little bit, and he got to play one of his Eddie's actual guitars.
Oh, that's cool.
And he was like so excited, and then afterwards he was like, I'm really disappointed. I thought I was going to sound like Eddie Van Halen. He's like, I didn't. He's like, it's like only Eddie can sound like Eddie. It comes down
to the touch.
And like,
yeah,
it's just,
it does.
And like, that's such an eye opener when you have someone like Nuno, who's like, just as a regular guitar player, you're like, oh my God, like just mind blown.
Yeah.
And then he's like looking at Eddie the same way that like I'm looking at him, and it's just like, yeah, it's your own individuality.
It's the touch.
Yeah, it really is. The tone really comes.
It does.
From all right here.
I mean, that's really anything. You were just talking about recording at home versus recording in a studio. It also comes down to whoever is on the controls.
Oh, for sure.
You know, like even in this room with these lights and this camera, it's like someone else does it's going to look completely different.
It's going to
look. I set it up.
Yeah, 100%.
But like I'm only as good as I am with this equipment. You bring in, you know, Steven Spielberg. This is going to look cinematic in here. You know,
I feel like it looks cinematic.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean. Where it starts with the person.
It 100%,
and then it's the tools.
Yeah,
and then it's everything else. But I mean, like it just starts.
How
with
many people have a Strat and have tried to sound like Stevie Ray Vaughan?
Right.
Yeah.
How many people sound like?
I don't own a Strat. I've never owned a Strat.
Dude, I've had
I don't know what my problem
You need
is.
to get one.
You own a
I have a Telecaster
though. Yeah,
I like Telecasters, but I need to get a Strat.
I have a Tele too. I've got a couple guitars at home. I've got my Les Paul back. I don't know if I told you guys that story last time.
I have way too many different style guitars than I need.
What happened with your Les Paul?
So I bought this Les Paul when I was 18. Got a credit card from Guitar Center. Lied about a lot of things to get the credit card, and I was I'm walking out with that guitar, and it was. So I got it, and I was, like the first like really nice guitar I ever had. I always wanted a Les Paul. Being a Jimmy Page fan, I always wanted a Les Paul. And it was a gold top, wasn't a burst, but still totally happy with it. And I moved down to San Diego, and I ended up having to like sell it. Like I traded it into Guitar Center, and it was just like, looking back, I was just like probably 5-6 years later, I was just like, I'm such an idiot for like, I should have just scrambled and found money some other way, and ended up finding a guy selling it back on Facebook Marketplace.
The same one.
Same guitar. Yeah. And
same
so
serial number.
It had this chip on the body that I knew was mine. And so I hit him up. I was like, where did you get this? And he's like, got it at Guitar Center in San Diego in 2017. And I was like, that is my guitar. And I went and gave him $1,000 cash the next day. And I got a great deal on it. I mean, for getting a Les Paul for $1,000 was, granted, I paid for it twice, but
but sold it once too.
Yeah, so I got it back.
Wow.
I know. I honestly, and what was funny is when I picked it up from him, because this is when I first started really getting into blues, and he's like, yeah, when me and my dad picked up this guitar, it just had this like energy. I just kept wanting to learn Eric Clapton, and I was like, you did not just say that. I'm like, what are the odds? Like, he just felt it in the guitar that's what he needed to be playing.
Clapton doesn't even play Les Paul.
Yeah, I know. He did for a little bit in Cream, but not really. Like, he plays a Strat.
Much,
yeah. He played a Strat pretty much from the early 70s on.
Cool. I thought I wanted a Les Paul, like when I was, 13 and wanted to get an electric guitar. And then I went and played one, and I was like, and then I became a Fender guy.
It's the sustain. I love the sustain on the Les Pauls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're just...
the body shape for me is uncomfortable. So like playing it sitting.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get you.
They're also decently heavy.
yeah, mine's heavy.
Yeah.
I do have an SG, though. That thing's light. I love my SG.
She's so practical to play.
It's a great guitar. I had the pickup switched out to the 57 burst buckers, so that thing sounds hot. That thing's really cool. I kind of got to take a leak, fellas.
Yeah. Do you want to wrap it up? Or?
Yeah, we can wrap it up. We've been here for an hour and a half.
Yeah. But then you got to,
we got a little bit of time, but yeah, we can wrap it up.
Cool. We just wrap up real quick and then.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to actually say, just use this time, kind of promote what you want, your tour, the new song, social media, whatever.
I would say just listen to my music on Spotify or Apple Music, and if you're one of those random people that have Amazon Music, you can listen to it on there too. YouTube Music's on there. Yeah, it's on there too. So I'd say just go listen to my music. You can follow me on Instagram. That's cool. I post funny stuff sometimes and post about where I'm playing. Sell T-shirts. But yeah, I'll just say go listen to my music. That's why I make it.
Yeah, and make sure just to stay tuned for when he's back in town.
'Cause
I'm sure you're going to be coming.
Yeah, I'll be back through probably late spring. early summer next year.
Hit us up.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Sure.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Apologies again for round 1.
I'm
glad to have you back for round 2.
Don't worry about it.
Looking forward to round 3.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Thank you, fellas. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for watching to the end. Make sure to check out the Reno Live calendar on our social media, as well as the reruns of our live stream event from a couple weeks ago. Until next time, rock on, Reno.